A little shorter than the last person up. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. First thing I'm going to request is that you please turn off your cell phones if you've forgotten to do that. I just remembered myself. I'm Deborah Vasquez, and maybe you need to be taller, I don't know. And I cannot tell you what an honor it is to be here to introduce my dear friend Sharon Potts. I will start by telling you how it is Sharon and I met. Approximately 25 years ago, give or take a few years, which makes me feel kind of old, I started working for a company where I met this man by the name of Joe Potts, which, as you can probably figure, is Sharon's husband. And for those of you that don't know Joe, Joe does a lot of things well. In fact, when I started at Data Access, the company that we both worked for, was a software company, or it is a software company. Joe was a controller there. And years later, he became the head of technical documentation. And this was a pretty big deal. This company had about 8 million users around the world of its software. So that gives you an idea of the versatility of Joe Potts, my good and very loyal friend, I have to say. Joe, you know, obviously does many things well, and one of those things is marry well. And,
Amen.
So that is how I got to know Sharon. And my relationship with Sharon really started more as a business relationship. Actually, Sharon encouraged me to start my own company, an IT recruiting company, which I've had now for 11 years. And, you know, Sharon, even though the relationship started as a business relationship, that relationship blossomed into a mentor relationship and just one of my most valued friends. So I'm really very proud of her and really happy to be here introducing her. I have to say, though, sometimes when I reflect back after being 11 years running my own company and 2 recessions later, and I especially ponder upon our last recession, which included the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression, I sometimes wonder whether I should be embracing Sharon or making her the lead character in my own murder mystery. Speaking of murder mysteries, as I said, I'm just so proud of Sharon. This is a woman here with a mission. You have no idea her versatility, her focus, her drive. I've learned so much from her. I don't have enough words to really tell you. If you don't know Sharon, once you get to know her, she's just an amazing woman. I don't know how many of you read her first book, In Their Blood. Wonderful book. I loved it. I can't wait to read Someone's Watching. And In Their Blood, as you may know, won many awards and gathered many important accolades. One of them was that it won the prestigious Benjamin Franklin Award. It also won the silver medal in the Book Expo America in New York for the Book of the Year in the category of mystery. So, you know, already Someone's Watching has been getting just rave reviews from places like Publishers Weekly, Booklist, and Florida Book Review. I'll read you a couple of quotes that I saw. Someone's Watching is a page turner I couldn't read fast enough. Plot twists will keep the reader guessing and excitedly awaiting this author's next book, just to give you an idea of what the reviewers are saying. So like you, I'm very excited to be here and to hear from the author's mouth about her new book. So without further ado, I introduce you to my good friend and author, Sharon Potts. Thank you very much.
I'm going to grab this. Thank you, Deborah. I don't think Deborah realizes just how influential she was in me becoming a writer. Now, as an author, we like different points of view. So Deborah gave you her point of view, and now I will give you my point of view. We've been friends or knew each other for 25 years, but our paths really intersected about 11 when I sold my recruiting firm and Deborah was starting hers. And I was very ambivalent about leaving the business world because I had just invested 20 years learning everything I could about the recruiting industry and running my own business. and to suddenly leave that behind. But Deborah said she wanted to pick my brain, and I thought, okay. So a couple of times a week while I was taking a creative writing class down at afterwards I would drive down to Deborah's office and did a brain dump. I gave her everything I knew about recruiting, and it freed up my brain to become a writer. So thank you. And welcome, everybody. I am so thrilled to see you all here. There are so many, my neighbors, family, all of my husbands.
Where's my man?
Meet after. In particular, I see there are people here that I've never met before, and I appreciate your coming. I'm going to start off by asking you a question. Do you suppose Emily Dickinson would have embraced this whole social networking scene? What do you think? Emily Dickinson locked up in her room. A lot of no's. You know, when I spoke on Saturday, someone said, well, she never would have had to leave her room if she was doing social networking. Good point. Well, I happen to relate to Emily Dickinson because my idea of social networking is watching my neighbors through my upstairs window.
I knew it! Count those eyes!
There is a giant banyan tree that blocks the window, so they can't actually see me. But I can look between the branches, and I can see them walking their dogs, coming back from the supermarket. Anyway, it sounds a little creepy.
Creepy neighbor.
I actually do leave my room and walk my dog, and I do talk to my neighbors from time to time, and that's more than enough interaction for me. Because think about it, I'm a writer. I like solitude. Who needs people when I can create them by the dozens whenever I please?
And there's Facebook.
And there's Facebook, right? And that's exactly my point, because my publisher said, you need people if you care about anybody buying your books. So, real people. So, for the last year or so, I have been digging through my roots, remembering names of people that I hadn't spoken to or heard from in dozens of years, Googling them. I sound a little bit like a voyeur. Googling, Facebook, everything. And the funny thing is, what started out as a chore has actually turned into a very rewarding experience. It's really very gratifying to go back to your roots, right? Stephen just sent me an article about Jackson Heights today, about where we grew up.